Okay, so we have our oil pan all cleaned up. Got all the old oil. We wiped that out, sprayed it with brake clean, and we scraped and then buffed the gasket mounting surface here. So that's all nice and clean, flat. Now the trick is with this, when you have a pan that is not a reusable gasket, you're using silicone or a gasket maker, something like that. The trick is you want the surface area where the gasket's gonna be, you want that super clean. And you don't want any oils on there, anything from your fingerprints or anything like that. So you want to spray that with brake clean, and then you're gonna want to put a bead of silicone on here. On here, I like to put it on the transmission where this is gonna mount. So then you just push the pan right up to it. It works really good. And you want both surfaces to be super clean. So let's clean out the transmission one final time and then go ahead and get ready to install this. Your pan, and you got your transmission cleaned off. Now you're gonna apply your gasket maker. You're just gonna put a bead all the way around this transmission here. Okay, get your pan stuck on there. And you're gonna hold it in place with one hand while you start a couple of these bolts with the other. I'm getting them finger tight with this socket just to where they touch. Just to where you see this gasket material starts to squirt out a little bit. You don't want them too tight, because that's the next trick, is once you get all these in there, you just want the pan snugged up, just touching the transmission there. And we're gonna let all this gasket material set up. And then once it sets up, then we'll go around and torque all these bolts to what they're supposed to be. Okay, so we got the oil pan on there all buttoned up, tightened down, and now we are ready to put our oil in. And your fill tube is going to be kind of hard to find. It's going to be over here by the battery, your battery side. And you see, if you can see that tube right there. We're going to pop that little cap off of there, get a nice long funnel, and then you're going to fill up your trans right through there. And remember, the beginning of the video, I said to keep track of how much oil you drain out of your trans, because there's no dipstick on here. They make an aftermarket dipstick that you can get, and I'll show you that. But when you drain the oil, you want to keep track of the oil, how much comes out, because you want to try to get close to putting that same amount in. And I measured mine out, and I have about 4.5 quarts. So I have 5 quarts now. So I'm gonna put 4 in it and then start it up and then see where we're at. Okay, so I got my funnel in there and I'm ready to dump all my oil in. And like I said, I measured out 4.5 quarts out of my trans. So I've got 5 quarts of oil. Some ATF plus 4 is what it calls for. I have 5 quarts. I'm gonna dump in 4 and then take the funnel out, put the cap back on, start the car up, and run the transmission through all the gears. Okay, so we got our oil in the transmission. You got it running. Probably a good idea to take it around the block or something, shift through all the gears, get the oil nice and warm, because it'll be easier to read. And what I was talking about earlier in the video is you might need one of these tools here. It's a universal Chrysler dipstick, transmission dipstick. So this thing has little numbers on the end of the dipstick here, like this. Yeah, you're going from, starts down here at 10, 20, 30, goes all the way up. And when you get this tool, you're going to get a piece of paper with it, and it'll tell you, depending on what model, what year, vehicle you're working on, you're gonna stick this tool into the transmission till it bottoms out on the transmission down here. You're gonna stick stick it all the way in, bottoms out. Then you're gonna see where the oil is on these marks. The piece of paper you get with this, depending on your transmission temperature, will tell you where it should be. So if your transmission temp is running at 100 or something like that, depending on what it says, it's gonna be down here 20, 30, something like that. So let's go over here. Okay, we got the car running. And it's going to be easier to check it the warmer you get the transmission, because the fluid will rise. Okay, you hear that? You know that you got it on the bottom. And you're going to have a bunch of this cable sticking out. It's because it's for lots of different models. It's going to work with lots of stuff. Put that in there, pull it out. And let's see where we're at up here. See where that fluid is? We're at about, we're probably about right in the middle of 20. So depending on our piece of paper, what temperature the transmission oil should be at 20, we'll see what it says. And then go drive it, see how it performs.